Welcome to the Real Estate Scripts Podcast, the show that helps you know what to say when you're talking to buyers and sellers so that you can close more deals and earn more money. I'm Darren Tunstall, a real estate professional, coach, and #1 best-selling author. Let's get into this. Before we begin today's episode, I want to clarify some important points. I am a licensed real estate agent and my DRE number is 018534445. It's crucial to note that this podcast operates independently of my affiliation with Keller Williams Realty and any realtor associations. My primary goal with this podcast is to provide you, our listeners, with valuable information, insights, and practical tools. As a reminder, the purpose of Scripts and Dialogues is to come, learn, practice, and be prepared to fail forward. This is where we make mistakes and help each other out, but we're mostly interested in seeing how we can get better. First, we read through the script word for word, and then we go back and put it into our own natural tone, style, and phrasing. You won't know what to say until you go through the script. So, with that said, many people will say, that's not how I sound, and I totally get it. That's not how you sound. But that is the reason why we practice every day, so that the script becomes you and in your own voice. So, read it word for word first, then go back and put it into your own natural tone, style, and phrasing, and I think it'll work out. Today is ongoing service to the buyer, and we are setting expectations for ongoing service with first-time home buyers. Still a little bit of preparing, but we're setting those expectations. And I think when you're working with pretty much anybody, regardless of your situation, whether you're in real estate or not, standards and expectations should definitely be set up. So I'll go ahead and get this started. In this scenario, you are engaging in a dialogue with a first-time home buyer, focusing on setting expectations regarding your ongoing service to them. Requirements are strong communication skills, in-depth knowledge of the local real estate market, ability to provide personalized guidance and support to first-time homebuyers, excellent negotiation and problem-solving skills. The intention is to inform the first-time homebuyer about the ongoing service they can expect from you. And we'll go ahead and break out, practice the scripts, and we'll be back. All right, Miguel, what's going on?
Going good.
Hey, on today's script, if you haven't refreshed your screen yet, I would suggest doing so. You'll
Oh,
know that
really?
it's right if there's a couple of bold words in there for today's
Yeah.
script.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, then that's something that I'm working on. I'm kind of curious to see how it goes. Uh, so there's a book behind this whole thing, and it's a 350-page scripts and dialogue book. The idea behind the book is to, number one, present the scripts and dialogues as is, and then as people start to progress and get better and better, I'd like to use bold words here and there so that when you're going through it again later on, it's just a trigger to say, oh yeah, that's what I had to say. This is what I
Mm,
should say there. So I'm kind of testing that out here on the online version of it.
okay.
And I don't know if it's going to work or not. I might just can the whole thing. But for you, you can, go through it word for word. We'll have you go through it a few times and, and see where we go with that.
Okay.
All
Sounds good.
right. So when you're ready, I will be your buyer. Carolyn is listening in.
Okay. Sounds good. Good morning, Darren. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. Darren, buying your first home is very, very exciting. And I want to assure you that I'll be here to support you every step of the way. Um, Really, I just wanted to ask you how I can assist you today.
Well, obviously we want to buy a home, but I am kind of curious to know what I can expect from you throughout this whole process.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, ultimately, I know that, buying your first home can be very overwhelming. But really, I want to ensure you that I will be there to guide you every step of the way through the entire process from, really helping you understand what your budget and your financing options are. Working with your lender, just searching for homes that ultimately meet your criteria and what you and your family might be looking for. I'll also provide ongoing assistance with things such as paperwork, negotiations with the agent once we submit an offer, and then, of course, inspections, all of which can be very overwhelming. So, just really, I just wanted you to think of me as your trusted advisor throughout this entire journey. Is there anything in particular that you had questions or just wanted to know more about?
Well, obviously, I mean, I have a lot of questions for sure. It's being that this is going to be our first home. I have heard several stories, that I can get I can get very lost in the whole process, and I've even heard some horror stories where people are, don't get supported as much. So I just want to make sure that you're going to be there the whole way because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, it's totally an overwhelming process. Really my job is to be that guide for you. And so with that being said, I think the biggest thing for both of us is the communication aspect of it. Communication is ultimately, very vital, especially for first-time home buyers. Really, I want to make sure that we have, regular and open lines of communication. And I think, just being able to set the expectation of what the preferred method of communication is, from me to you and vice versa, whether it's phone calls, emails, or in-person meetings. This way, we have the opportunity to stay connected throughout the entire process. With that line of communication that you prefer, I wanted to be able to provide proactively update you on new listings, respond to your questions, and address any concerns that arise. How frequently would you like to receive updates from me?
Well, that was my next question to you, which was how often should I, hear from you? So I would think maybe, I mean, for sure, at least once a week. Uh, I mean, are you going to be there when, like, say, for example, a home comes up on the market and I really want to go see it? I mean, is that something that I can just reach out to you?
Yeah, most definitely. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. My regular office hours are 8 p.m. all the way until 10 p.m. If it's, extremely urgent and you feel like we need to see something right the next day, I'm usually on Do Not Disturb, so you're more than welcome to text me, 10 at night, and then we can discuss it in the morning. But really, my communication is very open to you.
Okay. No, that's perfect. So, you'll stay in touch with me fairly frequently then.
Yes, yes, I'll stay in touch with you fairly frequently. And one of my main responsibilities is to provide you with valuable information, regarding the neighborhood that you might be searching for and also market trends. Um, with that being said, that's why we can have sort of an open communication. I'll also offer insights into different areas, consider factors regarding your criteria, such as if you're looking for something regarding safety, schools, amenities, commute times from home to work. I also wanted to keep you informed about, all of the market trends in the areas that you're looking for, along with recent sales and pricing dynamics, just to ensure that you're able to make the best informed decisions. Is there any specific neighborhood or feature you'd like to know more about?
Uh, yeah, well, number one, we're specifically looking for something that might have a view of the city lights. We really like to see that. And in terms of a neighborhood, ideally, it should definitely have a park or something like that to go to, some sort of a recreation area. We do have a daughter that we would really like to keep her engaged
Mhm,
with activities and things like that throughout the day. The other thing is schools. I, you know, I hope that we can afford an area that will put us in a good school district. That's super critical for
mhm.
us. Even if there was some sort of I don't know, raffle or whatever to get into the school, I'd totally be open to doing that. But that's super important to us. I know what it's like growing up in an area where the schools aren't very good, and I
Mhm.
just choose not to put my daughter through that. So schools, community involvement as well, and something that has some decent neighbors too,
Mhm.
you know. I like talking to my neighbors, even if they don't want to talk to me, I'll still talk to them.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, thank you so much for being very open and transparent about what you're looking for. So what I'm hearing is sounds like city lights, a very open neighborhood with a great community, schools for your daughter, and then of course parks. So I'll definitely keep those neighborhoods and or neighborhood features in mind, upon our search. The next thing I just wanted to mention is the closing process, which is a very crucial stage. Um, I just want to let you know I will be there to support you throughout the entire process.
Mhm.
This also entails explaining all the necessary paperwork, reviewing the purchase agreement with you, and of course, being able to understand every aspect of the transaction. I'll also work very closely and be in touch with your lender, the sellers, of course, the seller's agent, and the escrow company to ensure that there's a smooth closing process. Really, my goal is to be able to alleviate any stress from you and make this process as seamless as possible. Um, that's ultimately relatively about it. Is there anything specific you'd like me to explain further regarding the process?
No, I think that's about it. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Perfect. Yes, no, definitely. I'm looking forward to helping you find your new home, and I'll be in touch with the next steps.
Okay, sounds good. I appreciate it, Miguel. Have a great day.
You too, Darren. Take care.
How do you feel about that?
I feel I feel pretty good about it. I think it's very straightforward, and I have this kind of bad habit of like trying to say too much as opposed to keeping it just straight to the point and straightforward. But I just feel like this is like very, very straightforward, very straight to the point. But I just do too much.
And we all do. In
Mhm.
fact, I was listening to a podcast 2 days ago. John Maxwell. I don't know if you ever listened to him, but he talks about the pause. He talks about
Yeah.
allowing for space and slowing down. And I can get talking really quickly as well. And it's because it's uncomfortable sometimes when there is a pause and there is silence.
Mhm.
But really what we're doing is we're allowing for people to catch up to what we're talking about. By having that pause there, you might have given them so much information to think about, they haven't had a chance to process it yet. And that's how I think about a pause after listening to
Mhm.
him, thinking about a pause like, okay, they're processing, they're thinking, and by having that pause there, they are catching up and they're absorbing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, ultimately, yeah, it definitely does.
It's awkward for us, but it's good for them.
Mhm.
And vice versa, because it allows us to collect our thoughts too.
Yeah, definitely. I talk too fast sometimes, so I think being able to do this like helps me kind of get the habit of slowing down. So it's just more of a habit to keep in mind.
Well, on that note, let me say this. You did fantastic. Okay.
Thank you.
I don't believe that you talked too fast. I think that you heard me. I think that you reiterated everything that I said, and that's important to go back and to say, okay, so what I'm hearing, and you did that really well. So I think you did great at it.
Thank you. Yeah, well, it was because of your good pauses, so it gave me a chance to catch up.
Let's go ahead and do it again. This
Okay.
time, I don't know if the bold words help. Do the bold words help at all?
It does actually. Yeah, actually, I think it does because it kind of helps me, in a sense, know what's like to like kind of what to say next, or like be able to like kind of see it more as like a bullet point, as opposed to it just being like I have to like read each sentence. I mean, it helps me for sure.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I may not have all the right keywords bolded just yet. Like I said, this is a brand new technique that I'm thinking about incorporating because it is going into the book. Let's do this. Let's do it again. And this time, use the bold words. Don't read it, but use the bold words to help you through the conversation. And this is another technique, by the way, to put it in your own tone, style, and phrasing. We
Hmm.
don't want to read it word for word. We want to put it in your own voice. Let's have you use those to direct your conversation. I will answer the questions according to how the script is set up.
Okay.
Okay? So
Yeah,
when you're
sounds
ready,
good.
go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Darren. How are you?
I am doing well, Miguel. I'm. When are we going to get started? I signed that contract and I'm ready to go.
Yes, 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 definitely. I'm so glad that you were able to sign that contract. So we, we're here today because I want to discuss um, your first time home buying process, which can be very exciting, but it can also be very overwhelming. And I want to ensure you that I'll be your support the entire step of the way. With that being said, as you sign the contract, I want to know how I can assist you today.
Well, I'm happy you brought that up, even though that I know that I've already agreed to work with you. I am kind of curious to learn a little bit more about what I can expect from you throughout.
Yeah, that's a great question. For one, like I mentioned, the home buying process can be extremely overwhelming. It's a very, very stressful situation, but it is ultimately very exciting. What you can expect from me is to be your guide through the entire process. This means from being able to help understand where your budget is, the financing options, being able to um, search for homes that ultimately meet your criteria. So I really
Mhm.
want you to see me as your trusted advisor, as someone that can be your support throughout this entire process. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to know more about?
Yeah, I've just heard horror stories in some cases. Bottom line is, I just don't want to feel lost or unsupported.
And I wouldn't want you to feel that way either. I think a lot of times when I hear those horror stories as well too, it's coming from communication, which is extremely vital. So especially for home first time home buyers, as this is their first time. Um, so regarding communication, I think it's best to kind of set the expectation. So what I wanted to do is decide on the preferred method of communication, whether it's phone calls, emails, in-person meetings, etc., and also maybe the time frame as well. This way, we can kind of stay connected throughout the entire process at the preferred time that you'd like. This also means being able to proactively update you on things such as new listings, respond to any questions that you might have right away, and then address any concerns that you might have throughout this process. So, what method of communication would you prefer, and how often do you feel like you want to receive updates from me?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, let's see. I'm always more I always want to hear from people more by the phone. I want to hear a real voice. I don't mind texting here and there, but if it's something that you feel like we should have a conversation about, then let's jump on the phone and talk about it. Number one. I guess if you're gonna send me stuff like a resource or something like that, I don't, I don't want to remember like a website to go to or a person's phone number. I don't really want to write it down. Chances are I might be even driving sometimes. So if it's like a resource or something like that, just put it in an email. That way I can always, refer back to that particular email. But otherwise, I would say phone call is my number one. My number two is just shoot me a quick text on something, but I don't want to book either. And, I would say from in terms of how often, uh, I guess, I guess that's going to be determined on the property itself. I mean, if I have a
Mhm.
property that I like to see, I mean, can I reach out to you or do I have to wait like a day or two before you're available, or how does that work?
Yeah, most definitely. And thank you so much for being transparent about, what you would like as far as communication. Um, as far as for me, you're more than welcome to give me a call anytime. My line is, relatively open for you because you are a first time home buyer. This can be, like you said, I know there are a lot of concerns at this time. So feel free to give me a call anytime since, you prefer uh, via phone. And then I'll go ahead and shoot you any kind of emails when, I have like a certain resource to kind of keep in touch that way. Um, so yeah, no, we'll definitely stay in touch very, very frequently, very frequently or as often as needed. Um, so one of my, main responsibilities is also to provide valuable information um, within the neighborhoods and market trends within the neighborhoods that you're looking for, and also market trends. I also want to be able to provide insights on different areas, considering certain factors regarding your criteria, such as safety, schools, any kind of amenities, and of course, like commute times, because I know a lot of times um, you might have a long commute time from work. We want to make sure it's as seamless as possible for you. I'll also keep you informed about any kind of trends, recent sales, and of course pricing dynamics, just to ensure that you're able to make the best informed decision when purchasing your home. Is there any specific neighborhood or feature you'd like to know more about?
Yes, I have to be around a golf course.
Go for
Hands down, I don't care. I don't care where I live. I just need a golf course to go to at
it.
least 3 days a week.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. How about like golf? It sounds like golf clubs. Like, are you a part of a golf club?
Um, Occasionally, since we're moving, I'm gonna
Okay.
have to, I am r right now where I'm at, but I'm gonna have to find something that's more close to where I'm gonna
Yeah,
live. Um, but right now, yeah, that's like the big thing for me. It's like part of my life. I'm not pro or anything. I just love the game so much that I need to go out and play like 3 days a week. And I do a lot of networking on the course anyway,
of
so
course.
it's a double whammy there.
Definitely. There are a lot of beautiful golf courses in the neighborhoods. So I'd love to, find some homes that are within that or within that area. Yeah, no, thank you so much for, letting me know that you would like to be around a golf course. So I'll definitely look for neighborhoods with that feature in mind or with that amenity in mind. So last thing I kind of wanted to talk to you about is just the closing process, which I know can be a very crucial stage. Just letting you know I'll be there to support you throughout that process as well too, because that's probably one of the more stressful processes. This goes from being able to explain the paperwork, review the purchase agreement with you, and ensure that you understand all the aspects of the transaction. I'll also, be working very closely with your lender just to ensure that there is a smooth transition process. Um, Last thing, Darren, I really want to let you know that my goal is ultimately to be able to alleviate any kind of stress, relieve you of any of that you may have in order to make this transaction as seamless as possible. Um, Last thing I just want to ask, is there anything specific you'd like me to explain further regarding the closing process?
Yeah, I don't have any more questions. You answered everything that I really wanted to know, and it seems like you're pretty genuine in helping me out. And like we talked about yesterday, I agreed with everything. And yeah, let's do it. I have no more questions right now.
Beautiful. Let's get the ball rolling.
Let's do it. How'd that feel?
That felt better. Yeah, that felt a lot better. I think doing it a second time, uh I feel warmed up now. And those bold words do help a lot more too, because it helps me kind of like know what's next.
Right. Yeah, everybody, I think I'm going to start incorporating some of these bold words. They're meant to really just jog your memory on some of the important things that need to be touched on. It's something that I'm incorporating into the book. Admittedly, I probably don't have all the right bold words or trigger words bolded just yet. I'm working on that and I'm sort of listening here to see what you all consider to be a keyword that will trigger. But the idea is to take it out of the writing word for word and to encourage you to put it in your own tone, style, and phrasing. And that's the reason for the bold words in the script. So if you see that from time to time, ideally I'm going to try to get those in there every single day. But I hope that they help and I hope that they encourage you to put it in your own tone, style, and phrasing because it's not easy to read, right? Yeah. But how did it go for everyone else?
Good. Yeah, good.
It went good. Amy did a really good job today. She slowed it down a little bit, and so it seemed more natural.
Speed is is an important factor. We talked about that as well, and uh, we were talking about pauses and what a pause does. It allows for people to catch up. You know, we give so much information, and naturally, I think people want to share so much information. And if we just keep going and going and going, then it gets overwhelming to anybody who's listening. So the pause, the effective pause, is to stop, let them process what you've just told them, and then they can catch up. And that's the importance of the pause. And it's not always easy to do that because it's awkward for us to just hear silence. Would you would you all agree with that?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, especially when you're the one causing the silence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, true.
Yeah, exactly. One last question, and it is 9 o'clock, so if you need to go, I totally get it. Um, when it comes to resources like neighborhoods and schools and market trends and things like that, I'm kind of curious, where do you all get your information from uh, to provide that information to your clients?
So,
Well, when you're doing the comparative market analysis and uh, you start in, your area, your farm area, you tend to know, the school districts and the ease of commuting and so forth.
Okay. And schools and neighborhoods, things like that?
well,
Mm.
Miguel, go ahead, Amy.
so
Oh, you're breaking up. While she's coming back, Miguel, I'm curious, are you do you have access to RPR there?
RPR, I don't think so.
Okay.
I
Amy,
don't think so.
okay,
Sorry.
Amy, if you can hear us, you're frozen. But for everybody else, RPR, at least in the San Diego area, and usually when you log into the back end of your MLS, there's a whole bunch of different resources, and I'm sure that you have something similar to it.
Probably.
Um, I'll give you an example. Let me just do this
Oh,
really
I do have
quickly.
access to it. Sorry. Sorry.
You do?
I
Okay.
do.
I haven't lo I'm going to share my
I haven't
screen.
logged into it.
I'm going to share my screen with everybody just to give a brief idea. But usually when you log into your MLS association, there's going to be some sort of a resource there for you to use. All right. So when you log in, at least into the back of our MLS system, I'll go to some of these quick links down here. You go to RPR. I just want to point out this because I know that the majority of people, and it sounds like Miguel as well, you have it. RPR, and this is a nationwide company, so it's no, I don't want to do that. If you go to research, for example, you can search by neighborhoods, market trends, schools, things like that. And you can do it based off of a home search, if you're looking for specific stuff. So, for example, if I wanted to do a school search, then you can type in, and I'll just type in 91941. This is my zip code. and then it's going to pull up a whole bunch of schools. And you can provide these reports, these different types of school like reports, school report, for example, neighborhood report, valuation reports. You can also create a whole bunch of stuff. It's a really very useful tool. Well, let me show you an example. They'll give you these different types of school reports like this where
Oh,
you can give this information to your clients, which is really
I
cool.
also bring the mini report to my open houses I do
Yeah.
that shows this. And that way, if someone's interested, that, it, instead of
mhm.
second guessing, if you don't know what schools are in the area and the different aspects, it's right there.
Yeah. So
That's
this
cool.
one right here, the mini report.
Hmm.
Yep. It's just another resource that you can tap into. It's going to have all your contact information in there. Typically, you would log in through your MLS and all your information is should be already be there. If not, I would go into your account, set up your profile, make sure everything is set up, and then it'll be personalized to you. So, I highly recommend that. And then the other thing is if you're on the MLS and I don't know if you have or if you have this, but there's something also called Fast Stats, at least in our area. Fast Stats, you can do a most recent in probably any area, a zip code. So for example, I was looking at La Mesa earlier. I'll just run this quick report and this is what's going to pop up. It's a PDF. You can drop your logo right in here. And now you're just giving, like this is good for door knocking or just emailing people or whatever it is if you want to hand this stuff out. So,
Hmm.
anyways, hope that helps at least. Neighborhoods, schools, market trends, like the mini property reports that Debbie was sharing. These are free resources that you have access to because you're an amazing licensed realtor that's put in the time to be educated and amazing. Anything to add? Amy,
No.
I know you got cut off earlier, but
Zoom.
yeah.
No, I was actually saying that sometimes I get caught off guard because, like, at an open house this last 2 weekends ago, I was in Santee, and although I know, like, my family went to school and some of my family went to school in Santee and they do like T-ball, I don't know the names of the schools. And so I relied on my personal experience instead of like coming with, being prepared. And I felt like I had my foot in my mouth for a minute. So I definitely, like, last night we did a coaching session and she just showed us this. And this is what she takes to her open houses, like Debbie said. So
Oh, she just showed you the RPR,
not the RPR, but the fast stats last
the
night.
fast stats. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I can use these things. So I'm gonna be more prepared in the future.
Good. Good. Well, that's the idea. And these are quick tools that allow you to just run a quick report. And the great thing is RPR also has an app. So you can pull it up like right there when you're talking to somebody. I don't care where you're at. You can pull it up real quick and just send them a quick PDF copy of it, on the fly.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. All right. So we'll see you all tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Take care,
Bye.
guys.
All right, so that's the script. I hope that you found it useful. Just head over to realestatescriptspractice.com for more resources and downloads. This content is for educational purposes only and does not make any guarantees. We suggest you seek the help and or advice of your broker, coach, mentor, office manager, attorney, and or financial advisor. Brought to you by Darren Tunstall, a licensed real estate agent, DRE number 018534445. This content operates independently of Darren's affiliation with Keller Williams Realty and any realtor associations. The intention is to provide you with valuable information, insights, and practical tools. Please note that all results may vary and participants are responsible for their own actions.